feel like in the last 2 years, we've witnessed a huge change in society. Absolute idiots doing stupid things right after the other. And I think Clout has done so much harm to this world that it's going to be the future downfall. I'm going to share real stories about how Clout has ruined people's lives and others, and I'm also talking with someone who grew up with a famous YouTuber who has over 10 million subscribers. He was friends with him since they were 12 years old and helped him get started on YouTube. He saw how Clout changed him when he blew up at the age of 13, where he ended up getting more money and more attention than he ever could have asked for, and how it ended up ruining him.
By the time he was ready to leave high school, everyone kinda...
When you think of famous, you think of Hollywood, actors, celebrities, but the thing is, clout is way different. It's like a currency. There's only so much money in the world, and there's only so much clout. And people are willing to do anything to get their hands on it. They don't care if they're being talked about in a negative way. As long as they're being talked about, they have clout. A person who chases clout is someone who's addicted to attention. It's not that they like attention, it's that they need attention to function. And like popular girls in high school that need to be the center of attention, clout chasers need to be acknowledged, but by hundreds of thousands of people and millions of people when you go up the ladder, just to feel validated and to feel like they have a soul and purpose in life. Not a lot of them have a specific skill or talent or anything, and they can easily be swapped out for the next person in line who wants clout. Now for my first example of clout damage, I want to show you this woman. This is Chrissean Malone, and just 2 years ago she was a D1 track star at Santa Monica College. And a really fast track star, for a matter of fact. And not only was she a great athlete, she had all the odds stacked against her in her childhood. She had a single mother raise her along with her 11 siblings. 11 siblings, just think about that. Her family moved around a lot, and there was even the point where they're almost homeless when she was 9 years old. But Chrissean persevered, and she really dedicated herself to school and track. And she eventually went to college. She got an amazing scholarship and the opportunity to run on a D1 team. In July of 2020, Chrissean said, "As a young black beautiful woman, I am a survivor. Since I didn't have the childhood I should have had, then I can have the future that I deserve." And Chrissean's future was in her hands. She had everything going right for her. She was starting to gain some recognition for running, and she ended up on the Ultimate Tag, a parkour TV show, and she ended up winning. And Chrissean's future was looking really good. All she had to do was graduate, get a good job, or even continue as a professional athlete. Nope, because this was Chrissean 2 years ago, and this is her now. Life outside of college can be hard, and it's a big transition for a lot of people, but this wasn't that type of scenario. All this happened because she met her boyfriend, Blueface. Oh, where'd she meet him? On a walk, on a date? No, she met him on an OnlyFans reality TV show. Yeah, I don't know what to say. The Blue Girls Club was run by the rapper Blueface. I'm not gonna bother explaining the show to you, but it was just trash. Bunch of girls in one house? Drama. Blueface can only like one girl? Drama. The girls don't like each other? Drama. And from this TV show, Chrissean and Blueface got into a relationship. And Blueface is a rapper who I'd consider a clout rapper. He's not really known for his music or any songs he has. He's just sort of there. And Chrissean and Blueface made the relationship very public. They went on other people's shows, podcasts, live streams, and did everything to get as much clout and exposure as they could. But look at her now. She's famous, she has more money than she could have asked for. What did it cost her? Her health and body and overall well-being, developing an addiction, an abusive relationship, a public relationship that gets clipped for TikTok content, having to fake a fight on a reality TV show between her and her boyfriend, fighting other girls on a TV show, losing her scholarship, losing her future, losing her teeth, constantly having to start petty drama to stay relevant. I'm not a licensed therapist like Lucy, but I can tell you that probably doesn't feel good on the soul in a couple of years. All of those choices and the decisions she made can be pointed back to one thing: the desire for clout. Just to be in the spotlight, to be known by millions of people, and attempt to be even more famous, even if it ruins your own reputation. One thing that can easily be forgotten, but this is real life. Like, Chrissean is a real person. This is someone's daughter, someone's friend, and someone's old teammate from track.
Better ready your age, better tell you what. Yeah, cause this one little. You put a hole in my wall.
And I know some of the things can be funny, but she really damaged her entire life just to have your attention. Right now she won because I'm talking about her, but was it worth it? But sadly, most of these people don't realize what they're doing. They don't realize they're going against their own morals. They just see one goal and they're willing to do anything. Take this Subway employee who's trashing his entire workplace while filming it. Why? To get signed by Meek Mill.
At Meek Mill, trying to get signed to Dream Chase.
He filmed himself trashing the job that he works at. He checked in every day they're making sandwiches and decides to pick up his phone and record himself trashing it because he knew it would get people's attention.
I'm working in Subway.
No, he did not get signed. He didn't even play his music while he did it. That's like a huge opportunity. Sorry, but he did all this just for clout. Remember in school how they told you not to take candy from strangers? Imagine doing that to actual kids in real life for entertainment, while also having a person in the back of your white van pretending to be kidnapped, screaming for help.
Down, bro. Keep it down. Anything else?
This is something that a live streamer did, while live on the internet, showing her face and doing this to actual real kids outside of a store, which led to her getting arrested for being an idiot.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
She put her own life and her friends' lives in danger, all for clout. There's an infinite list of people doing stupid things and posting it on the internet for social media, but I think all this is related to Disney Channel. Now, I don't think that Walt Disney caused this himself, but I want to take you guys back 10 years ago so it'll all make more sense. When I was a little kid and the internet was just starting out, there was this ancient relic piece of technology called cable television. You didn't have access to everything like you do now, and you could only watch one thing at a time. And on those channels, there was a limited amount of time slots and TV shows that could play. Now, I know I wasn't the only one who watched Disney Channel as a kid and thought to themselves, hey, I'd like to be on Disney Channel. I'd be best friends with Zach and Cody. While it was a great dream to have and it made me feel really good, I had to be realistic. You couldn't just walk up to Disney Channel and be like, hey, can I be on the show? And they let you in? No, you had to have a certain skill set. You had to be an actor. You had to have actual acting skills. You had to be able to memorize lines. You had to be extremely handsome. There was a resume and a requirement if you wanted to be on Disney Channel. And I think a main reason a lot of kids want to be on Disney Channel is because, hey, that looks pretty cool to be on a TV show. And more people are watching less TV and just watching things on the internet. They've done surveys now, but if you ask any kid what they want to be when they grow up, they'll say they want to be a TikToker or a YouTuber.
What do you want to be?
A YouTuber.
You want to be a YouTuber? Okay. What do you want to be? A YouTuber? What do you?
Famous YouTuber.
It's only those two options. You don't see anything else now. And back when I was a kid, you had other jobs. People wanted to be an astronaut. I want to be a firefighter. I want to go skydiving. Even when I was a kid in 5th grade, I wanted to own a zoo. Don't judge me. I just want to own a zoo. More and more people can become influencers online. You don't need to be a good actor. You don't need to memorize lines. If you can get people's attention and look at you, you can make a living on the internet. And when you start to see people like these kick streamers like Neon doing anything for attention, bothering people in public, it starts to make sense. These are going to be the future generation of kids that are willing to do anything. Oh yeah, this is Neon, and he's one of the biggest streamers in the entire world right now. You may or may not have seen him, but he pulls in hundreds of thousands of live viewers. He has more wealth than your parents combined, and he can drive whatever car he wants. Real people are tuning in to watch him, and real people are looking up to him as an influence. He grinded his entire teenage years on YouTube and Twitch, and credit where credit is due. He was making a lot of videos and wasn't seeming to quit. But one day he made a fool of himself, and he noticed a certain formula. Hey, if I act like an idiot, it gets people angry. It gets people to talk about me. Other channels make videos about me. I end up on TikTok clips. And Neon has followed that formula, doing the most degenerate things that you can think of. He made it. He's got clout. He has millions of followers. But what did it cost him? Harassing so many strangers in public I can't even count, faking himself getting beat up and dying, getting made fun of by literally everyone he runs into, faking his entire personality online just to cause scenes and create controversy with people, annoying women and making them extremely uncomfortable, weirdo, being creepy and weird to children, can't shake that one off, having more and more YouTube drama channels make videos of him to spread his name, and threatening the United States Secret Service to getting banned from a UFC event. There's more and more, and there's likely going to be more after this video, but you get the idea. You wouldn't want to talk to this guy, but because he's on the internet, people talk about him and he gets people annoyed, he's kind of a big deal. But he's been so corrupted by clout and fame that even his own friends have pointed it out.
Clout, it changes your principles, like you don't think anything, it's bad, bro.
This once innocent nerdy kid just became a nerdy kid who's an awful person. But the weird thing is that the internet doesn't like him at all though. You can't find any supporters of him, and if you look at him on YouTube, you don't really see anyone supporting him. He doesn't have a real audience. He just has clout. A temporary spotlight that's only faded at this moment, and in the future, he will be replaced and forgotten about. For this next part, instead of looking from a distance, I'm going to be talking with one of my good friends, Michael, who grew up with a famous YouTuber. He didn't just share a class with him or see him in the hallways, but he personally knew him since he was 12 years old, and he was even the cameraman for some of his videos and helped him start editing. And he saw one of his good friends blow up on YouTube at just the young age of 13. He had more money and more attention than any teenager ever could have asked for, and he made a lot of bad choices to keep his clout.
I knew him since 6th grade, so like beginning of middle school up until the end of high school. Well, at the start of it all, it was kind of like, oh, I'm making videos with one of my friends who just so happens to have as much of an interest in YouTube as I do. So it was, it was nice. I come from a very small town where not everyone makes videos. So the moment I found someone who did, we clicked.
So what was he like before he started making videos? Was he a quiet kid, just extroverted, just a regular goofy 7th grader?
He was definitely hyperactive. He was always moving around or trying to get people to laugh. He was like a class clown, essentially. Yeah, no, he was a normal kid, just trying to get involved with everything and everything he could and talk to everyone in the school. Okay, so when I was behind the camera, there was a lot of like kind of immature things, doing blank and blank until I get kicked out of the mall.
You don't learn to behave yourself.
Ding dong ditching people's houses until they get like pissed off.
And you're still harassing me. I'm gonna get a restraining order against you.
Do you know how close you were to hurting that kid? He's
I actually remember watching his first video that took off. I think it was almost like 7 years ago. Like that trend was really big at the time, and it got so many views, and I think it was probably one of the most viewed videos for that trend. What was his reaction to all of that? Like the views, the attention, just...
So at the very start, it was everyone's business. A couple thousand views is nothing. Once you hit 500,000 as a 14, 15-year-old, that's kind of crazy. Like that's bragging rights. It would always come up, like the teachers would be like, oh, we got the YouTuber in the room, or they pull up the channel and be like, oh, let's see what you're doing outside of school.
Did it make him smile at all, or just to be acknowledged in that way? Did he really like that?
I think for the first little bit, it was nerve-wracking and embarrassing, but the moment he realized he had attention on him, he was hooked for the second time, yeah. Eventually, he got an ego boost when he realized that the numbers would snowball, and he was consistently getting videos that got really nice amount of views for a 15-year-old's, wallet.
In high school, he made that... I can see why it goes to your head.
His ego definitely grew as he realized that the money he was making off YouTube from such a young age was far more than he would need to go to college for.
Do you think it just isolated him from society in a way? That sounds so dramatic to say.
No, it definitely did. He went from everyone knowing him to everyone knowing him but not fully liking him because of his, for lack of better words, obnoxious content.
You just set the alarm off.
I did? Ready? Ready? Go, ready?
He would be making money so that he could, fly out and take trips to collab with other YouTubers, but every time he came home, he was definitely depressed. He wasn't really in contact with anyone in our school except for maybe 1 or 2 people who stuck with him through everything. And it's not that people were hating on him or they were jealous. It was like, hey, man, as a friend, I'm trying to look out for you.
Did he become very insecure about not being liked, where you think this is where he started to show off money or do all these things to sort of redeem himself?
I think it kind of comes from the YouTube stereotype of, hey, I got an expensive car at a young age. It's almost the shock of, hey, the fact that I'm so young and so successful almost fueled it a little more.
Did he ever get cocky towards the teachers or just lash out at people?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if this is going to work once you turn 18 because you're treading the line of like, you can go to jail for this now, but if you did this as a minor, it'd be a slap on the wrist or a fine, I really think that his high school experience was completely altered from my perspective in a negative way by trying to capitalize on clout instead of like making videos of actual value. And he just really didn't listen to anyone around him. He would invite me to those videos under the premise like, oh, yes, you are participating with 4 of my other friends for $5,000, $10,000. And it wasn't so crazy to me to believe this. He showed me his YouTube Studio app. He was making far more than 10 grand a month. When we came over to actually do the video, he just wanted to fake it and he'd pay us each $40 an hour to help.
$40? Oh, that's still really good money, but...
It was great money for a 15, 16, 17-year-old. And I came in with the mindset and being 100% ready, as well as the other participants, that we could be here for 72 hours and we had the potential to win $5,000. But it was really just a checklist of stuff he wanted to do, and he paid us hourly, which was really disappointing because I think if it was real, I definitely could have won the $5,000.
Uneasy? Were there any points where you're just like, I can't do this anymore, and then you left?
As time went on, though, and he asked me to, are you free on so-and-so Thursday, Friday to help me with this video? I started to say no depending on what the video was. So anything that would cause conflict or make anyone's day upsetting, or pranks that are not really pranks.
Like, was his hunger for clout and fame just so high that he kept doing things that you couldn't believe?
That goes back to the 24-hour challenges and stuff, because at first, oh, all of these 24-hour challenges did good. Why don't we just like fake it? Or I could make this person aggravated for a reaction and I could post that, blow it out of proportion. Or, you know, it always came down to, let me get a reaction out of someone who is already well known. He could talk about how he made it, but there was a turning point where people in my school were admiring his videos because, wow, you're getting so many views, to admiring my videos for like not taking his advice. He gave me advice. If you just do this and this, like, join my videos and we can collaborate and you'll also blow up. But in the back of my head, I didn't want my image to be the same that he had. Ultimately, my dad saw me in one of his videos and was like, you know, people are going to look at this video and like friends from your school are going to see this. And yeah, if I'm embarrassed by my family watching this and I'm participating in it, it's not something I want to be known for. He would always push the limits of like where you can and can't have a camera. He would kind of do anything and everything to get views, even if it was something that his parents didn't approve of or his closest friends didn't approve of. And he lost a lot of people on the way, to the point where he'd give me a false SD card. Someone comes up to you to delete it, mall cop, security. He would tell me to take out the SD card and I'd have a spare one in my pocket that I would put in. So if they asked to check the camera, it would then be blank. Yeah, we deleted all the video, blah, 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 blah. I think what led to his downfall was the fact that he wanted it so bad. He had the anything it takes mentality to get to where he is. And when I say rage bait, it's like, I can't believe you did that, so I want to click on it and learn more. Getting clout can be exponential. I'm going to do this even though my parents told me not to. I'm going to do this even though my friends don't really support me doing this specific thing. Although he still gets views, he's disrespected by a lot of people in communities and outside of different communities. By the time he was ready to leave high school, everyone kind of didn't want to see him, even though it was like, holy crap, there's a YouTuber in our school with 10 million subscribers. Suddenly that's not cool when you don't agree with the type of messages they're sending. It's hard because you could say he's made it, and if you talk about numbers on YouTube and monetization dollars, yes, he made it, but he's built up a reputation that is a digital footprint most people would not want to have.
He has a digital footprint a lot of people wouldn't like to have, but he also has a lot of money that a lot of people would love to have. Not that it outweighs it. Who he could have been, but what he has now.
What he has now. It's something.